Hi everyone, I hope you all are doing well and staying safe and healthy. This is Radhika here again, and this video is going to be a quick one. It's about how to annoy a narcissistic person. So, it's a small trick that you can do when you are with a narcissistic person, and this will really annoy them. Okay, and I'll also go into the spiritual kind of a take on this, like why this annoys people in general, but a narcissistic person, because their ego is very inflated, it will really annoy them. And so, yeah, so the trick is whenever the narcissistic person is talking, right? Make it a point once in a while. Don't do this every time, otherwise, it loses its effect. But once in a while, ask the narcissistic person to repeat what they said. And this especially works in an office environment if you are working with someone who's extremely narcissistic, who always takes the floor in the meeting, who will take over the meeting, won't give it over to others. One very good trick you can do is once they are done saying whatever lines they have said in the meeting, just say, for example, like take a name, like say for example Sam. Hey Sam, I didn't catch what you said, could you repeat that please, the last part? And just look at the reaction on their face. They are going to hate repeating what they just told you. Um, so yeah, this is a good trick to kind of put them off balance. Now you can say, like a normal person, when you kind of say this, right, like oh, can you repeat that? Obviously, if they have explained something very detailed, they also might get a bit annoyed that, dude, I just like explained the whole thing to you, why do you have to make me repeat it again? But there won't be so much of like insulted feel to them, unless of course they have some wounds of being unheard in the past, like there can be people who are not narcissistic but were continuously unheard by people, and they might have this wound triggered if you do this. But say it's a genuine case, right, like it's a normal person and you ask them to repeat, they'll be like, oh come on, pay more attention, and then they might repeat it, for you. But a narcissistic person, because they have the implicit expectation that every word they say has to be listened to carefully and followed to the T, they really get very annoyed when you ask them to repeat something. So this is where ego comes in. So from a spiritual perspective, this is ego. When you are in your ego, the ego wants to have its way. And you might have seen this in yourself, like maybe sometimes you were explaining something very passionately with a lot of like your sense of self involved with the discussion, and say someone doesn't hear something or they change the topic, you feel so insulted and you feel so like put off by that. You feel almost like telling that person or shaking that person that, hey, pay attention to what I'm saying. So that is because at that point your ego really wants to talk. And the one who talks is always the ego. Like right now, when I'm talking, I'm not in my soul vibration, I am in my ego vibration. Only the ego speaks, right? Because the ego needs a speaker to speak, and that's when you come in the ego. But silence is soul vibration, silence is, there's no speaker in the silence. So, from a spiritual perspective, that's why we get annoyed when people cut us off, because it's our ego, and ego wants to be heard, ego wants to be seen, ego wants to be made feel special, ego wants to fight other egos because it wants to be victorious. Or if you have a victim ego, then you want to be victimized by others and then cry about it because you're in the victim ego, etc., etc. So you have to recognize your own ego, like I'm going in the victim mode, I'm going in the punisher mode, etc. um, so yeah, that's why we also get annoyed. And for a narcissistic person, they are completely unaware of their ego, because they don't operate through the soul vibration, they only operate through the ego vibration. So they are missing a complete aspect to their life of being in the soul vibration. So you can say like they are only living a half life, they are living life only to half the capacity that they can live. Um, so so yeah, that's why a narcissistic person, whenever you cut them off, or don't cut them off, but just kind of ask them, like, oh, I didn't catch the last part, what were you saying, and see how annoyed they'll be. So that's the ego. And that's just one way that you can, one small trick. It's not very bad, it's not mean, it's not manipulative. It's just to make the narcissistic person realize how attached they are to the words that they are speaking. So yeah, that was this video. I hope this helps you in some way, and as always, I wish you all a lot of love and a lot of light. Thank you. Bye.